Hi, this is Mindless Sanity 602 reporting to you at the Nightmare Central with day number three's review of my 31 days of horror film reviews of year four. And this one, we're getting what the main objective of this, a majority of this film's this year's list objective of, films that people don't consider horror films, but I do, and this is the first one that really goes into that effect. And we're going to be talking about Hobo with a Shotgun, which is a 2011 not rated. Well, it doesn't say on here that's a horror film. It says it's a 86-minute action comedy thriller from director Jason Eisner. Yeah, but Hobo with a Shotgun. It has horror elements to it. It has horror elements to it, like the big old hospital massacre scene, and there's plenty of horrifying elements like this with the sleaziness. So it's a horror film to me. It's very slight horror, but it's horror regardless. And so basically, Hobo with a Shotgun was basically when Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez were doing their Grindhouse. They allowed one filmmaker. They put a contest going for whoever can make the best fake trailer. And Jason Eisner made a trailer for Hobo with a Shotgun that was shown in limited screenings of the epic movie Grindhouse 2007. It was right before Machete, which also got the feature film treatment, and that's what led to this film coming into existence. One thing I could definitely tell you is that it's a lot better than Machete. Machete is a horrible movie. Machete Kills is worse. I can't really decide which one's worse or not. Machete or Machete Kills are both awful. I think Hobo with a Shotgun is a better movie. I think that see, the problem is the original Grindhouse. Well, it's not original, but the film 2007 film Grindhouse with the double bill and all that shit. That works. But all these other films that precede it, just it does, maybe because it has a double feature form and it's how the Grindhouse is supposed to be intended. But all these films that try to be Grindhouse films, like Machete and this, just don't really seem to get the point of what made those 70s exploitation films great. Is that they tried to be more than what they resulted in. When you have people who would tend to just make filthy Grindhouse films, it totally just doesn't feel organic to the whole entire Grindhouse thing. And I've seen plenty of them. The closest one out of the whole modern Grindhouse feel is Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. And even that's miles away from a true Grindhouse film. But anyways, Hobo with the Shotgun stars Rutger Hauer as the Hobo with the Shotgun, which they had a cameo by the person who played the hobo in the fake trailer. I would have preferred him because I, in all honesty, don't buy Rutger Hauer as a hobo. I really don't, because Rutger Hauer is. I don't want to be rude to the guy, but it kind of takes me out of the movie. About a hobo with a shotgun. If the hobo himself is slightly overweight, let's not beat around the bush. Rutger Hauer in this film is overweight, and I think a skinnier, more skin. He got the rugged look of what a hobo should look like. A hobo should be rugged. Rutger Hauer definitely has a very rugged, jaded look to him, and that's helpful. But him being overweight, kind of takes me out of it. Just makes him see, oh, he's not a hobo. He's not a hobo. He's well fed. He's well fed, so he's not a hobo. That's my major problem with him as the hobo. I would have I think somebody like Jackie Earle Haley would be perfect for this role. Jackie Earle Haley is like a fucking weasel looking motherfucker, and I think Jackie Earle Haley would have done a better. I think it would have been a better fit, but unfortunately, I don't. He doesn't really seem like the type of guy that would be doing this. Anyways, we got a Hobo with a Shotgun. So we got Rutger Hauer. He's an overweight guy, overweight person, and then he goes to this scummy town where he sees all this crime, and he witnesses a guy getting beheaded, and then this fucking girl, this guy gets beheaded, and then there's this bucket of blood and shit, and then there's a girl that just went all over and got insane. This film really tries to be fucking overly insane, and that's something wrong about the modern Grindhouse wannabe type of films. Is that the Grindhouse films of the 70s, exploitation films, were not over the top insane. That's what general audiences think they are. That's what general audience think they are. That's the reason why Planet Terror fails. I love Planet Terror, don't get me wrong. I love Planet Terror. Planet Terror's a fucking fun movie. But that's what the general audience thinks a Grindhouse film is, full of buckets of blood and gore and machine guns and shooting. But they're slower paced. They're slower paced, and they have their wackiness like Super Chick or whatever. But for the most part, they're slower paced and more. Yeah, they're not like this. They're not like Planet Terror. They're more of like Death Proof. So anyways, got that. Then we get to see the bucket of gore. He runs into you got these two brothers who have this big father figure who runs the whole fucking town. Basically, makes the cops. He has ties with the cops, and the cops are all corrupt. They're all corrupted cops who are under the rule of the Drake, and the Drake is honestly way over the top for my liking. He's like, you gotta kill all the hobo or you get all my broads or whatever, and I just feel like it's not organic. It's not organic. It's just I can't really think of a better a film that would potentially have a better example of like a big crime overlord who has a control of this big fucking town or whatever. But I don't believe him. I don't really like his kids. His two kids are very phony acting. There's one scene that really pisses me off in this film, and that's when the two brothers go and fucking burn down this school bus full of children. I understand it's fictional, but this is a fucking review. This is a fucking review where we give out our preferences of what we like to see in films, and so this kind of defeats the point. But I just don't really like to see children. I don't like to see, hear, or any form of harm to children in films. Even great films like Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, when that fucking kid got his fucking face melted by putting on that silver shamrock mask. It just revolts me. It revolts me, and I even if the film is fantastic, like how only 3 seasons of The Witch, it still gets knocked down a peg for harming a child, harming a form of innocence, and when they killed those whole bunch of children in that school bus, I just felt like this is gratuitous. This is fucking sick. This is fucking sick, and I don't like this. I don't like this in a film. I don't think it should belong in a film. I think children, babies, and all that shit should be safeguarded, and nobody should dare fucking add any harm to them in films. I know that's pretty fucked up because I'm okay with fucking buckets of a whole bunch of teenagers getting killed off fucking Halloween or Friday the 13th films and Nightmare on Elm Street. But children and babies, I don't know why, but that's a no zone for me. And for the most part, the film for like beginning portions of the film, sure they were wacky, sure they were over the top, but they still maintained a nice level of me doing what a film audience is supposed to do in a film, and that's suspicion of disbelief. But once they introduced the plague, you know, those 2 guys in their metal armor suits, and that, you know, basically done that hospital massacre. You got one funny line I like where you got this fucking doctor just got fed up and just shot at them and said, "I'm sick of these fucking junkies." And that made sense. It made sense with the situation of that town. That fucking hospital's probably overloaded with the fucking junkies with the way that town's going. One thing I do like about this film, I like the relationship between the hobo and the stripper. I like that relationship. I like that. That's the highlight of this film. I like that, you know, the hobo comes along, and this stripper helps him out, and Baby's kind to him. It's pretty endearing. And I like that, you know, or hooker, and I like that she, you know, she be's kind to him. They develop a bit of a rapport or relationship where they're kind for her, and then he comes to defend her. He comes to say he's sick of, he doesn't want to have that profession. You can tell that he genuinely cares for this girl. And I like that. You know, yeah, he genuinely cares for this girl. And he says when this fucking scumbag cop sexually harasses the girl, he just fucking, and this guy's a real fucking sleazebag. He shoots him in the face, bloody and shit, getting blood all over, and he basically says, "She is a fucking teacher." Bam. And that's pretty satisfying scene. Pretty much all the scenes that are about the hobo and this stripper are the best parts of this film. And the other parts about the back to the plague, because I completely digress of sorts. When the plague is what really ruined the film for me. We already had the over the top shit here, the over the top shit over there, the baby mass, the school bus child massacre scene, and and all that. We have all that, but once the plague gets introduced and we realize these been forever, and that they killed like Abraham Lincoln. They have like a whole bunch of newspaper articles which exposed them, telling that they murdered Abraham Lincoln, and they had this big squid thing in the back. It just took me out of the movie. It took me out of the movie. I was like, okay, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. That's kind of fucking silly. I would like. This film has over the top silliness, but that was the kicker for the film. That was the kicker for the film with that scene. Overall, I was just really wasn't a big fan of that scene. That totally ruined the movie. I like the confrontation near the end, like the confrontation between the Drake and the hobo. I like that scene. I love that scene. I like the style. I like some of the music choices, and not the film stock that this is filmed in, because the film stock has a terrible. This is from Magnet or Magnolia Films, whatever you may put it. And Magnet and Magnolia Films, if you have a film from them, usually it has this terrible like digital kind of like cruddy look to it. Even if the film's like really good, like they made a movie with Thomas Jane and Rob Lowe called I Melt With You. That's a terrific film. Also put out by Magnolia. I think it's on Netflix. Definitely worth a watch. House of the Devil, also from Magnolia Pictures. They have that terrible like digital look to them. But they even put out that piece of shit Return to Sleepaway Camp. But I'm not a big fan of the film stock. A film stock that all Magnolias, you could tell that's a Magnolia film or Magnet film if it has a terrible like film stock look to it. That has like a terrible digital look to it. But the color palette of the scenes is very stylish. But if they picked like a better film stock to shoot this in, or basically had better film stock, I probably would appreciate the colors and color palette and visual style of this film more. Overall, Hobo With A Shotgun is a movie that I do not recommend. It's way better than Machete, where Machete's just it's basically a movie that just doesn't really fucking get the point of a Grindhouse. This one gets the point a little bit better of a Grindhouse, unlike Machete, where Machete was just, had too much of a fucking political point that Robert Rodriguez was pushing in that film. That he was so fucking overbearing with the message in that film, and the point that he was trying to get across about Mexican border, and how bad the Mexican border is, and how fucked up the whole entire Mexican immigration thing is. Let the border free. Being overly pushing and overly bearing about his message about the border. The border is a bad thing, and making, putting a whole bunch of his hidden political agenda bullshit. And Machete Kills. Machete Kills so fucking stupid. It's not even worth a watch. But Machete was too much about a political point of view, getting his political points, and not really giving a shit about making a fun movie. And also Machete isn't a character where the hobo character is more of an organic character. It seems like where Machete seemed like it was just the Machete character. I love Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is a great actor. He's a very likable person. Nobody can hate on Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo fucking rocks. But I'm just saying about the character and everything that he represented in Machete. That's probably going to be the role that he's going to mostly be known for. Overall, Machete just doesn't work as a film. The Hobo has a little bit more of a character to it, and it just doesn't have like a badass look. Like I'm gonna have a machete. It's just a character, just a character that's driving along the film, and I appreciate that. Anyways, the Hobo with a Shotgun Blu-ray I have here is pretty well packed. I haven't really checked out the extras and anything, but the Blu-ray's pretty nice. It has a good look to it. A few other things that I completely forgot to mention. I like, he killed. I like the way the hobo killed these two people who were mistreating, fucking brutally beating up on a woman. I like that he, killed a pimp who was just being violent and aggressive with this girl. So when he's doing that, it's fine. But overall, Hobo with a Shotgun. If I don't really have like a certain rating system, but if I had a rating system, I would put it at a 4 out of 10. So it's a below average film. It's a below average film in my opinion. It has a few good things about it, but it's barely even mediocre. It's a below average film. It's a below average film. I do not recommend it. But anyways, it's been Mindless Sanity 602 reporting to you at the Nightmare Central with day number 3's review of my 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews, year number 4. And I shall see you within like 24, a little less than 24 hours with day number 4's review. And we have officially completed, well, kind of officially completed the half of what the first week of October has accomplished. So October has took over like 3 days of what started in September, whatever. Anyways, I'm rattling on. I shall see you with more videos to come, and like, comment, subscribe, and I should be quitting now. Goodbye.